for a fighter who a lot of people are saying is on the decline, and to be fair, I think they're quite right to say that. I suspect Anthony Joshua is on the decline. However, he is still a man in demand, and given the fact that he's now being called out by the likes of Andre Ward, a super middleweight slash light heavyweight who retired way back in 2017, 2017 is when he retired. That just shows that people still see Anthony Joshua as that payday. And that he, even though he's on the decline, I'm sure a lot of people will feel, well, you've got people like Andre Ward, who hasn't fought in, 8 years, calling him out. They still want to get in there. They still see him as someone who they want to be in there with to make that payday. It does have me thinking, surely they're keeping us in the dark until we get past Atoma versus White. And then the path for Anthony Joshua should be clearer. You would think. Because one minute we're hearing that Jake Paul is the front runner, and I've said my piece on that fight. I've given my 2 cents. I don't like it. Quite frankly, I don't like the fight. I think it's a gimmick fight to end all gimmick fights. I mean, when you look at Mayweather-McGregor, that's a gimmick fight. There's no ifs or buts. It was a gimmick fight. Floyd and McGregor sold it very well. They sold it brilliantly. I'll give them that. To make the public believe that McGregor had a chance. And I'll never forget, I think I've spoke about this several times, I'll never forget the build up to that fight, the absolute nonsense that people certainly back home are coming out with about McGregor's got. It's just like, yeah, brilliant. And what happened on fight night? And then we go, well, I was so happy when all that ended, believe me, so happy. And I think it was August, whatever ended, it was just like, oh, thank God, back to normal. Then we had, obviously, Fury and Ngannou, another gimmick fight, and Fury at the press conference looked in really bad shape. And in the ring on fight night, he looked in really bad shape. Simple as that. And it made the fight all the more competitive. Now, Fury won it legitimately, I felt that he did do enough to win, but how competitive he made Ngannou look in there. And the rounds that Ngannou won, he really won them, So you were looking at that, you were thinking, oh my God, what the hell? Then AJ fights him and shows what happens when a boxer, even not in his peak AJ, meets a novice boxer whose background is in mixed martial arts and shows you what you got to do. And that was what he did. This fight right here is way worse than Ngannou versus AJ, McGregor, Mayweather, etc. Because you're talking about people who come from a combat background. McGregor, as limited as it was, and people say, oh, he won, an All-Ireland, title in the amateurs. Yeah, I've seen some All-Ireland fighters in the amateurs, and quite frankly, some of them have 2 left hands and 2 left feet. It's amazing how they ever even are allowed in the ring. Seriously, that's the level that we're talking about. So that was McGregor. Ngannou, we already know. Jake Paul, well, he still is a YouTuber who has fought, well, whenever he stepped up, and stepping up is Tommy Fury, which is area level, really. He lost. He wasn't soundly outboxed, but he was fairly, there was no debating who won that fight by the end, That's Jake Paul. So that's one of the options. I sincerely hope that doesn't happen. The catch-22 is that if it did happen, for one, it'd be a massive payday for AJ, and for people like myself, Ade, etc., who do videos on it, I know we would absolutely rake in the views. We would. I know we would, because the casuals would lap it up. But if you want to talk real boxing, well, I say real boxing, but you want to talk about non-gimmick fights, Anthony Joshua, I've seen a lot of people teasing the fact that his next fight might not actually be in Saudi Arabia, but might actually potentially be in Ghana. So I seen an image of Joshua in a stadium, or it was releasing an image of Joshua in a stadium, not him directly, but visiting one. It says Anthony Joshua reveals potential locations from the Mirror for next fight. Tony Yoka has revealed that he could fight Anthony Joshua in Ghana if he beats Jake Paul to the punch and lands the fight. I thought that said if he beats Jake Paul. I was like, there's no ifs about it, and please don't let him fight him. So Yoka is in the frame to fight Joshua, with the Brit recently claiming he will take on his fellow Olympic champion. The Frenchman has now revealed Joshua's team have gone to Ghana to scout out a potential venue for the showdown. His team have just left for Ghana to see what the sports facilities are like, Yoka told. It's in French, I'm not even going to try and pronounce it. there is a possibility that the fight will take place in Africa. A lot of people are talking about it, and it could revive boxing in France. Oh, it certainly would in France. I mean, it would have to be massive for boxing in France, even if it did take place in Ghana. If it comes to fruition, it will indeed generate enormous interest. But Joshua's promoter, Eddie Hearn, believes it is more likely that Paul will land the bout. He told Sky Sports. The bizarre world we live in, I think Jake Paul is the front runner for Anthony Joshua next. I'm here in New York for a meeting about that fight. There is open dialogue between myself and Nikiza, Jake Paul's kind of MVP manager as such. The boxing world are saying, please AJ, go in and what's that say? Evaporate. I was like, what? Evaporate this young man from boxing so we can all get on normal. Well, in fairness, like, I will just interject there, right? In fairness, like, Jake Paul is kind of, like, it's just kind of dare, you know, you don't really take it too serious. You got Jake Paul's fans bizarrely thinking that he can beat Anthony Joshua. He can't. Simple as. And the most bizarre thing out of everything is that Jake Paul genuinely believes he can beat Anthony Joshua. He can't. Surely not. Surely not. You can have all the confidence in the world, but, like, at the end of the day, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, there's always a chance for anybody in life. And I don't mean that, like, could he be... Look, it's better to believe you can do something than you can't. You know? It'd be like someone saying, you know, oh, God, I want to date Sydney Sweeney. All right. Chances are you're not, but better to believe you can than you can't gives you at least a semblance of a chance, as little as it is. I'm not saying that's going to be the case, but you know what I mean, right? But yeah, probably better to believe you can than not. I don't think he has a snowball's chance of surviving an hour in hell's chance of beating Anthony Joshua. But Jake Paul still appears to be the front runner. I'm not even going to mention Andre Ward, but I already have. Jake Paul, Tony Yoka. I get from Eddie Hearn's perspective. Eddie Hearn is a businessman. He's in the business of promoting. He's in the business of making money. And I can't emphasize enough how much I love this, right? I really would. I would love to see a big show like AJ versus Yoka. It's a decent show, or a decent fight, in Africa. In Ghana, Nigeria, the Congo. Don't know if it's feasible to do it there, but you know what I mean. I'd love to see it. You know, boxing is a worldwide sport. You know, this is something that just grinds my gears when it comes to F1. The F1 World Championship, why is there no race in Africa? You know, Kyalama in South Africa is a great track. Why can't you go there? You know, oh, he's the World Championship. Oh, it's the World Championships. You know, players from, you know, he goes to here, he defends it. He goes to there, he defends it. Got Africa defend it. That's part of the world. It's a continent. There you go. I'd love to see it. And I would prefer to see AJ fight Yoka in Ghana. That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? The reception they would get would be phenomenal. Honestly, it really would. I'd love it. That's my preference, is AJ versus Yoka in Ghana. I'd love it. I think it'd be a phenomenal event. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. AJ, it's getting interesting. We're all waiting. Who are you going to fight next? Who's it going to be? In an ideal world, I would say fight Tony Yoka. It's a very winnable fight. Very winnable. You know, I don't think... Listen, Yoka hasn't looked the same in a long time. Last time I looked at Yoka was impressed was 5 years ago when he fought Johan Dueppes and stopped him in a round. And that was impressive. Honestly, anyone tells you that wasn't impressive, that was impressive. That really was. But yeah, I don't think that... I look at this and I think, yeah, this is going to be probably, most likely, unfortunately, it probably will be Jake Paul. I hope I'm wrong, but let me know there. Let me know in the comment section below. Hope you enjoyed the video, people. Smash the like button if you could. Hit subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. Until next time.